This is Sandra Schulte with Speak Up. Today we have Chris Strunk back again to finish what he was talking about the last time. I think you were talking about a FOIA request that you made in Washington, D.C.
The statutory standing that FOIA gives you, Freedom of Information Act,
right.
Statutory standing on it as an act of Congress saying that any citizen is legitimately entitled to information from the government within a certain time frame, and it gives you standing where you can ask for something. You know, it's not like you're trying to fill in for something that somebody else who in government should be doing, like a Berg or others were doing. And that if you'd had, for instance, the Secretary of State of New Jersey or the Secretary of State of New York suing to get that eligibility, that would be their right to do, and none of them did it because they were bought off by Pelosi and Clinton and Obama, so that there's been a serious, massive conspiracy that has put this this illegitimi into office, and that he's merely a tabula rasa who has been used as a clean slate, and they're keeping a clean slate. You don't know anything. Nobody out there knows anything about him. So that, but they needed to bring in McCain in order to establish that Tweedledee, Tweedledum structure. Oh, he was born overseas too, and gee, he's legitimate. The Senate says, yeah, he's legitimate, and of course Obama says, yeah, he's legitimate, and everybody's saying, oh, you're legitimate too. You know, the point is that it's all a bunch of subterfuge. And it's all about the fact that the debt of the United States, we went into bankruptcy again after Clinton refused to pay in 1999 with the found $5 trillion, pay the debt of the United States. And he started the extension of the Ponzi scheme, and that's where Obama comes in.
And the $5 million was found because?
Because it was there.
Ah, okay.
There was the CAFR, that's an acronym, which knows that the reserve funds that everything has. I mean, we've got every state and the federal government have enough reserves to pay the debt at any one time.
I see.
And it's whether or not you want to dip into your reserves in order to pay the debt or continue on. So basically, Clinton said, let's go roll it, go for another roll on the table, the sixth time around. So, so I got statutory standing in December to get the information from the Department of State that I had requested. Since I was going down there, I added Obama's name to it because I didn't want to dice that out. But since I said, well, since I'm going anyway, I'll ask, where's this guy's birth certificate? And I want to know all of his entry into the country. He worked with Zbigniew Brzezinski, Knight of Malta, Zbigniew Brzezinski at Columbia University at the School of Foreign Affairs. And he went there, Brzezinski had gotten us into the Afghan battle with the Soviets. Remember the Rambo 3 movie where he goes out and throws a goat around with the forerunners of the Taliban, the Mujahideen, right? Which is Obama's big deal, Well, it's not Obama's big deal, it was Brzezinski's big deal. He was the one under Carter that got us involved in all that as the Knight of Malta. It's the center of the opium trade.
Oh.
That's what it's about.
It's about opium.
Opium. So, as a currency, as an international exchange currency that doesn't vary very much ever, and even diamonds, if they, there's
grades.
Right. Yeah. So, but the point is that I went to do my FOIA in Washington D.C. The judge turns out to be a Jesuit trained. He's trained at Holy Cross. He went through Suffolk law, which is, all of Massachusetts is the amalgam of the Catholic Church and the Masonic Order. All the Masonic orders were set up by the Duke of Norfolk, the Howard family, Ron Howard's family. The Howard family, which were the top, Catholics in England, even under Elizabeth. You know, Elizabeth had the Duke of Norfolk's head cut off because he continued to hang out with Mary Queen of Scots and wrote letters, and he got his head cut off. But that all the Howard family has been controlling the Masonic movement, the charter movement, through the first chartering in 1732 in Massachusetts, so that there's a tightly knit relationship between Bishop McManus, who is the bishop who goes all the way back in his connection to Cardinal Spellman, and a very powerful bishop, and his control through the Jesuits' relationship to Holy Cross and the various schools, and to Harvard and Boston College, and you know, so it's an incestuous, literally incestuous, sodomized structure up in Massachusetts. I mean, I can't spend too much time up there.
Let's get back to Obama.
So the point is, he went through that.
Yes.
He's a Prince Hall Mason. He went through all that, and that the key here is the judge. The judge comes out of that. He goes to Holy Cross. He went to Harvard, and he went to Suffolk Law, and he ends up on the Iran-Contra Committee, on the Whitewater Committee. He's a special counsel to Southern District, New York. All this, you know, this guy is one heavy hitter with a Jesuit background, and to boot, he's teaching as a teacher at Georgetown. Well, who sets up the Department of State's Foreign Service? Georgetown. Father Edmund, Father in charge of the Versailles Treaty under Wilson ends up creating the entire Foreign Service, and is in effect they train all of the Foreign Service of the Department of State, so that Edmund Walsh is sort of the key person, just like Augustin Bey in Bavaria is the key person in as a Jesuit, the key person in Europe who implements the Versailles. In other words, you had Walsh in the United States controlling through the left and the right and the various end results of the Versailles Treaty. And you've got Augustin Bey doing it on the other side. And Bey,
now, will you tell us the central thing about the Versailles Treaty?
Well, the World War, well,
at the end of World War II.
Yeah, well, the 15 points, which you know, as Clement Hugh said, well, even Moses only had 10. You know, and as, you know, the 5 books of Moses.
Michael, after a certain time, you have the treaty and you go on living peacefully.
Well, no, the point though is that Morgan and et cetera had convinced Wilson to do what he did, and of course it got, whenever there's money involved, the Jesuits are involved out of Georgetown. So here I have a Jesuit paid judge sitting on my FOIA case, screwing it up, messing it around.
Yes.
So I did a motion to recuse him, and I said, you know, this, that, and the other thing. Are you a Knight of Columbus? Have you taken any secret oaths? You know, are you keeping your oath to the Constitution here? What, you know, and basically he denied my right to ever